Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, he's one of the greatest ball players. His stats show it. RBIs, home runs. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I know Alex Rodriguez, not so much from watching the games, actually from um, organizations that he sponsors. Of course, I would sign him. He's for the community.
There you have it. So people want A-Rod. They say he does community work. And by the way, did you hear today that the Cubs may be charged with tampering?
How? Wait a minute. The Cubs may be charged with tampering.
According to sources, that the Cubs have approached A-Rod. The new ownership has approached because there's going to be a new ownership taking over the Cubs.
Oh.
And they were, they're supposed to be real interested in A-Rod. I think something at get ready for this outrageous figure: $40 million per year.
That's not outrageous. Come on, that's the going rate these days.
$40 million? Do you make $40 million?
I assume will be. Once I make sure that that diamond mine I have comes to real. No, but excuse me, folks. Sorry about that
You
one.
choked when you heard $40 million.
Yeah, exactly. This is lemonade, okay?
Yeah, right.
Now, the A-Rod thing.
Yeah, good.
The A-Rod thing. I got to get on this A-Rod thing because you know what? If I'm A-Rod, I'm opting out. I'm breaking out.
No,
I'm leaving, baby.
I'm not through. Wait a minute.
Okay.
First of all,
damn, he didn't let me get
it's
started.
$40 million plus a cut of the team.
Whoa. That sounds like Magic Johnson type numbers. Remember when Magic Johnson got that $25 million a year contract just before he left, which was $1 million? Oh, they was giving with that $25 million, he was getting some other stuff with the team.
What was he getting with the team?
Come on, I gotta hit back the Wayback Machine and pull out the numbers. I just pulled that off the top of my head.
What head?
Actually, actually, I do need another haircut. But getting back to the A-Rod thing. Now, you're saying that there's going to be tampering again, which means that they're going to have to pay a fine to Major League Baseball?
Which means that the Cubs may be the Cubs may be charged with tampering. I mean, because they're talking. He's under contract first of all to New York Yankees, which, by the way, they lost today. So it's 2 games now that they're behind Boston, and there is only 1 week left of baseball.
Look, if they catch Boston, fine. If they don't, fine. They're in the playoffs as it stands right now. If it was to end today, they're in the playoffs. And all the rest of those American League teams, look out.
Anaheim and Cleveland already have clinched.
Anaheim, oh, man.
So now
the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
I told you we would cover them again. And so now we're just waiting to see who finishes first and second in the East, because right now Detroit's out of the wild card. No, excuse me, Seattle's out of the wild card.
Yeah, they got bumped. They took a nosedive like
they
crazy.
Got eliminated.
Yeah,
and so now Detroit's the only one left in the hunt, but the Yankees are up on Detroit. I think about 4 games, if I'm not mistaken.
But we've got that, and Sheffield can keep crying and moaning all he want. He's on the outside looking in.
Yeah, that's too bad, huh?
I'm loving it. Yeah. Now, if A-Rod opts out, he can either go to Los Angeles, he can go to the Cubs. Hey, but wait a minute. Now, if, in fact, that it is true that there was tampering by Chicago Cubs, does that mean that they'll lose any draft picks a la like how they do in the NFL? Because the commissioner for the NFL is head and shoulders above any of the other commissioners. We can touch on that later. But what kind of penalties will be incurred to the Chicago Cubs if found guilty?
I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be monetary.
Just money, huh?
It'd probably be monetary. I wouldn't think it would be draft picks, but who knows? I mean, yeah, maybe a draft pick. I mean, or two.
Or two.
I mean, we're talking about somebody who's probably the MVP this year.
He's got to get it, man. Come on. I mean, he's got over 145 ribbies.
Hit over 50. First right-handed batter ever to hit 50 home runs for the New York Yankees. No right-handed batter has ever hit 50.
You kidding me? All the guys that done it before were lefties?
Maris. Except for Mantle. Mantle was a switch hitter.
Well, see, now you said switch hitter. See, he wasn't a straight right-handed hitter, okay.
So he's the only, because not even Joe DiMaggio hit 50 home runs.
Not even Joe hit 50?
No.
He had the 56-game hitting streak.
You know what I found strange is Joe D, the great Joe D, doesn't have 3,000 hits.
Wow.
All right. Okay. So, anyway, when we come back, after this segment is the Donovan McNabb segment.
Ooh,
And
I got something to say about
this.
that.
This was an HBO thing, and later on we're gonna do your favorite, which is the police blotter.
Oh, the police blotter. Guess who's on the police blotter this week?
Oh, we can't tell them. Well, anyway, let's go to Donovan.
No, I don't think it's true. Every quarterback gets criticized a lot, especially if they make a lot of money. Plus, he's from Philadelphia. I mean, look at Peyton Manning. You know, the guy was criticized. Oh, he can never win a big game, this and that. You got other quarterbacks like, let me see, Tony Romo dropped the fumble, got criticized a lot. You know, so I think it's a fair game to all quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, there is some racism still out there, but I don't think it applies to this issue.
I think it's true. Yeah, for those simple reasons that they're black.
Nah, it's not true. I think the pressure's on all the quarterbacks. That's it.
No, it's not correct. I don't think it's correct because it's racist. That's how I feel towards it.
So you don't think they get criticized more than white quarterbacks?
No,
You think it's the same?
more or less.
That's it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I say, in sports they play a lot of politics. Because fuck, it's like being a movie star, you know.
I'm gonna say this because my director told me not to say this, but I'm not Joe Namath. but let's talk about Donovan McNabb. You know, I think that he's way off base with this thing he said on HBO.
Now, wait a minute. Now, he may be off base as far as the public opinion is, but he is entitled to his own feelings. He's entitled to his own feelings.
But remember, he's playing in Philadelphia, the city that booed Santa Claus.
Booed him? I could have sworn they pelted him. Hey, remember the game that Michael Irvin got hurt and they carried him off on a stretcher? They were cheering.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they call it the city of brotherly love.
I mean, and he expects that. What does he expect the Eagle fans to do? Oh, listen. Oh, by the way, they wore the ugliest jersey.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Continue.
The ugliest
Continue with that ugly jersey thing.
The ugliest jerseys ever known to mankind.
Did you hear the guy on
And do you know what Philadelphia fans say?
What?
That if they score 50 some odd points, they can wear those jerseys every day of the week.
Yo, why not? Why not? Don't a lot of ball players who are superstitious and got idiosyncrasies, they like to either have a hat. Remember Wetland? Wetland, he used to come in with that old
sweaty hat.
Cruddy hat.
Yeah.
But hey, that was his his safety thing that he came in there with.
You know, Wetland made him sew that World Series patch because the first year that they wore that World Series, Yankees wore that was actually sewn into the hat, not like it is now. It's a patch.
So he kept his hat and had them sewn on the patch
because that was sewn onto all the. It wasn't a patch. It was actually sewn. All those hats had that
okay,
that
the emblem, yeah,
that emblem sewn into it. It's not like it is now when you buy one of those hats.
It's already
it's a patch that's
embroidered and the whole.
It's not embroidered. It's embroidered onto a piece of fabric, and then it's stuck onto the hat.
Mm-hmm. Now let's get back to I like those uniforms. I really like them.
You like that?
Yeah,
canary yellow and blue.
Hey,
bluebird blue.
Look, you guys out there who play a lot of sandlot sports and the weekend warriors, and you come out with your different looking uniforms over the years.
Yeah.
Cause look, I played when the fellas won their championship. We wore the powder blue. I got a friend of mine. He's always like very derisive about that, but I have an affinity for a different color
San
uniform.
Diego Chargers wear powder blue.
Look, man, I'm talking about the Eagles. I like their uniform. I don't care what they said across America. They had that guy on NBC last night talking about they look like a Pop Warner team. You know what? There's some Pop Warner teams that could go out there and bust him up.
Okay. I'll buy it. But you know something? I'll be honest with you. I mean, I like the powder blue. And don't get me wrong, it's just that it was really odd looking.
How can it be odd looking? They wore uniforms like that back in the day.
We're talking about the Eagles, not the Canaries, and you call them the Beagles off camera.
Well, look, that was off camera. This is on camera, and it's the Eagles.